Hey guys, it's been a while. What's going on? Shout out to Zombie Box Reviews. Guys, please go subscribe to Zombie Box Reviews. It was the thread on social media earlier that got me thinking. And for those of you that don't know, I have been putting a lot of my attention and effort into my channel, Lodonis Dragonstorm, where I talk about narcissistic abuse awareness. I've done a lot of studying on cluster B personalities after suffering from narcissistic abuse and consistent harassment and blah, 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 and all that stuff. But I wanted to share a little bit of insight because that conversation about Star Wars and what has happened to Star Wars and, the rise of the fandom menace and the backlash from fans, I've got kind of a new perspective on that. So normal people don't think that normal people don't think that others can be evil, right? Like, we know evil exists. We know there have been some really awful people that have existed throughout history or exist today. And, but on the average, like, when you meet somebody, you don't automatically think that you're dealing with a manipulative, lying, evil person. And the truth of it is that those types of people absolutely exist. Narcissism is one of the personality disorders that therapists don't like labeling people with, because it creates a stigma that will follow that person for the rest of their life. Narcissism is also something that's hard for therapists to treat, because some narcissists go to therapy to learn how to be better manipulators and better narcissists. The current idea is that there's only 1 to 3% of those personality types that exist. Those are only the ones that are diagnosed. Narcissists are about evading responsibility and not facing who they are, so they're not trying to get diagnosed, all right? They just want to be out there destroying lives and destroying people. So looking at Kathleen Kennedy acquiring acquiring Lucasfilm, being the head of Lucasfilm when Disney acquired it. And a lot of people, when the backlash first started, nobody could understand, like, this is not Star Wars, like The Force Awakens, especially The Last Jedi, which I will bet money that Rian Johnson is a narcissist too. But I believe Kathleen Kennedy is. The reason why the lores were thrown out, the reason why we didn't get the expanded universe on screen or any competent adaptation, the reason why you had the Kathleen Kennedy and the writers group attacking fans is because they are narcissist or narcissistic or some variation thereof. Now, let me explain. Narcissists have a very fragile ego. They have damage inside themselves from whatever trauma they suffered in childhood or throughout their lives. And so they live when they were young, they had to protect themselves by creating an alternate universe, by creating lies. They had to protect, their inner child by, creating a story, creating an alternate reality. And as they grew older, they didn't fix themselves. They didn't heal themselves. They didn't talk to somebody. They didn't go to therapy. And so that funhouse mirror, that worldview that they created around them, became their life, became their reality. And anybody who threatens that reality threatens them, because, they'd have to look inside to fix themselves. Okay, so narcissists really do have a lot of fear and hatred about themselves. They just can't face it. And that's why they project that out, and they seek out other people to destroy them. They seek out to create havoc and chaos in other people's lives. There's different types of narcissism. Some are actually very successful because they use money or influence as a way to control others. It's all about control. It's all about controlling on the outside and not facing themselves. It's all about not healing themselves and hurting other people, because to a narcissist, if they meet somebody that they admire, or that has a talent, or has an inner strength that they don't have, they will admire them to a point. Then they will stab them, they will hurt them, they will do something crazy out of pocket. And when that normal person with a lot of inner strength forgives them, they will look at that person that they hurt as being weak, and they will seek out to devalue them. And that's just how they live. This is how they live their lives. Kathleen Kennedy is a narcissist. She's a grandiose narcissist. And what she did was she hired junior narcissists, all right, less powerful narcissists and other types of toxic people who do the same thing. They don't look inward, and they project that negativity outward. And what she did was she took control of, with the help of, the junior narcissists, something that was beloved by generations of people, something that a lot of, people took, lessons, or, loved that story, or, they took hope from, because, the original Star Wars is a story about hope, seeking redemption, and especially, I just thought about this because you're talking about Luke Skywalker looking for the redemption of Anakin, right? The child trying to heal the parent. And a lot of narcissists are hurt by their parents, by, the whatever toxic environment they grew up in, which is where their trauma comes from. So that message in and of itself is very damning to a narcissistic personality. There's no hope, right? There's no redemption. There's only causing pain to others. Kathleen Kennedy, they're a bunch of Sith Lords. They live in the dark side. The whole purpose of taking something beloved by people, twisting it around, attacking the fans when they got upset, all of that was to create something called negative fuel. All right? Negative fuel is something that a narcissist lives on. It's their favorite type of fuel. There's positive and negative fuel. Positive fuel comes from a love bomb stage. That comes from, like, when they're getting adoration from someone, or they're giving adoration until they stab them and then get forgiven and then hate that person because they had the strength and compassion to forgive. But negative fuel, that's their bread and butter. That's what they love. That's why narcissists stalk people, create different accounts. That's why they smear people. Like, you see a lot of that, and you see a lot of that in CG, because it's basically the same thing. You've got a Grandiose Narcissist running CG, and then has a bunch of Jr Narcissists and toxic people underneath them. It's the same thing that's going on at Disney Lucasfilm. But the entire reason for repurposing and destroying those myths and not giving us the characters that as they were represented, especially with Luke, especially the destruction of Luke, because that threatens the narcissist's idea of healing their inner child and forgiving the parents for whatever they did to hurt them, and then, with forgiveness, moving on, having closure. It was all to create negative fuel. Like, even the foundation of the Fandom Menace and all the backlash and all from all the fans, whether you were TFM or not, all of your heartache satiated their need, can help to protect, or help to bolster the negative, fragile ego of the narcissists that were at Disney Lucasfilm. And that's what The Last Jedi, like, that in of itself, like, The Last Jedi should have never been made. There's no way anybody who actually followed Star Wars, liked or loved it, grew up with it, would have ever created The Last Jedi. That was two narcissists working together to get negative fuel, right? Okay. And the one thing about Rian Johnson, if I'm correct about him being a narcissist or narcissistic, is that was the height of his negative fuel, right? He will always chase that, and he will always actually, when enough time has passed, hate himself for not being able to piss off more people and create more heartache than that. He will always, the narcissists live in the past. They live in past accomplishments. But yeah, Andy was saying that, like, I don't understand why they just can't write competent stories, or why they can't give us something good. And the reason is because it's like a head vampire. Okay, it's like a head vampire coven. That's how Grandiose Narcissists and Jr Narcissists operate, or with other toxic people underneath of them. Until Kathleen Kennedy is gone and you clean house, you get rid of all that poison, and you're always going to have that affliction exist at Disney Lucasfilm. You're always going to have it. It doesn't matter if you bring in a writer or a producer who loves old Star Wars and wants to bring it back, like, those of you that believe in Favreau. It doesn't matter, because the narcissists who are there will derive negative fuel from hindering, blocking, creating frustration, to that creator who loves Star Wars. It's all about sustaining negativity and sustaining negative fuel. So that is what is happening at Star Trek. That is what is happening at Doctor Who. That is what's happening, Lord of the Rings, and all of these different productions. All right, they're being run by narcissistic, negative people who get off. They don't care if they'll run it into the ground. They absolutely don't. We're spot on about that. They don't care if they destroy these franchises, because the very destruction of those franchises, the heartbreaking of the fandom, the outrage, the sadness, all of that sustains their negative fuel. So, I mean, in all actuality, the only way to get anything back that we might have had, or that we could have from any of these franchises, is to fire the narcissists in charge. And until that happens, you just look forward. It won't matter if they lose money. Look forward to continual A continual cycle of negativity, attacking the fans, blaming the fans, because that's what toxic people do. They don't look inward, they don't heal themselves, and they're evil. They look forward to breaking your heart, to destroying you. They look forward to producing these movies and these television shows, and taking these lores and repurposing them, and then blaming you with nonsense, because that's what narcissists do. They do not take accountability for their actions, but you have to take accountability for your reactions to their toxicity. It's never gonna stop. So shout out to Andy's Zombie Box Reviews, and much love to you guys. Thank you so much for still being subscribed, and I'll be getting back on the horse with this channel as soon as I get the next book out. So thank you guys very much. Be good to each other and suffer no fools. Peace.